Bill Gates is sitting in a restaurant in Pico Robinson in Los Angeles with a bunch of Jewish clientele when suddenly he has an incredible choking fit. One of his Jewish clients immediately gets up, performs the Heimlich maneuver, and saves Gates' life. Gates turns around to him and says, "You just name your price, whatever you want, you can have it." And the guy says to him, "How about you just give me half of what you would have been willing to give me while you were in the middle of that choking fit?" And here we are, right after Rosh Hashanah, right after Yom Kippur. We've all made resolutions of different sorts. Our souls are on fire. The question is, how long do we maintain that momentum for? God turns around to us now as we step into the festival of Succot, and he says, how about you just make good on even just half of what you might have committed yourself to? Therein lies our challenge going forward. And so we stand now on this happy day, this joyous festival of Succot, and the somberness of the past 2 weeks have passed us by. But the real beauty of its celebration is that by gathering in Shul so soon afterwards, with the four kinds, the Arba Minim in hand, and then thereafter all going home and sitting together in our Sukkot, however uncomfortable that might sometimes prove to be, we're immediately surrounding ourselves with mitzvot. We're immediately immersing ourselves in all things spiritual. It's our way of demonstrating to God that we're now going to make good on that which we promised. But what is especially interesting is how these various mitzvot associated with the festival of Sukkot are all linked to the theme of Jewish unity. The four kinds, they represent four different Jew types, and they're all coming together bound as one. In regard to the sukkah itself, our rabbis famously tell us it's the one mitzvah over any other, which in theory all Jews can fulfill together, if there was a sukkah built large enough for all Jews the world over to be able to sit in. Why is the theme of Jewish unity so central to these days? There are all kinds of ideas and philosophies that are integral to the Jewish religion that have been brought into focus over the course of the High Holydays, be it faith, be it spirituality, and so on and so forth, creationism, study. So why the emphasis particularly on the unity factor? And the answer lies in an interesting question the rabbis pose in the Medrash when they ask, what defines us as a holy nation? And then they answer, quoting the verse, who is like your holy people, one nation in the land? Now the question is, that's what defines us as a holy people? Isn't the Torah what defines us as a holy people? Isn't that which happened at Sinai what defines us as a holy people? And the answer is no. All those things are secondary to the quote of the rabbis. What defines us as a holy people is one nation in the land. The Torah, all the other things, they established us as a people. But what makes us a Go Kadosh, a holy people, is one nation in the land, the unity factor. That's how we ascertain and establish our uniqueness, our holiness. And really the message and the takeaway as far as Sukkot is concerned is that the whole purpose and theme of the High Holydays is to draw us closer to God, whom we declare as our holy King. Then we need to strive more towards being a holy nation. And the way we do that is by being one nation in the land through the power of unity. What is the beginning of every Jewish conversation? Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you. And the other replies, Aleichem Shalom. In other words, imagine I say to you, good morning, and you reply, morning good. Isn't that how we Jews operate? The moment someone says something to you, you immediately respond by saying, no, you've got it all wrong, it's the other way around. And the reality is, throughout the course of history, we fight with the world and we call it sociology. We fight with God and we call it theology. We fight with ourselves and we call it psychology. Life is a constant debate, but we're always giving it sophisticated names. But even as the disparity might exist in the broader scheme of things, it need not ever become personal. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. 2 Jews, 3 opinions, 1 heart. And maybe that's why this festival of Sukkot is also demarcated as a festival of joy, with singing and happiness. What's the difference between speaking, a lot of which we do on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and singing? Well, when you speak and someone else is speaking, we call that interrupting. When you sing and someone else is singing, we call that harmony. The objective in life is to stop speaking over one another and start singing together. When you're too busy speaking, putting forth your point of view all the time, other people interrupt. No one's listening to what the other has to say. But when you're singing, then you'll be in harmony with those around you. Let us commit, therefore, perhaps above everything else, to think more about one another, to concern ourselves more with one another, to do more for one another, to strive for a greater unity this year in our personal lives, in our community life, and indeed throughout our Am Yisrael, our Jewish nationhood, our Jewish world. May this year be one where we learn to sing together so that we can go from the joy of the High Holydays followed into Succot, into a year filled with absolute blessing, true and ultimate joy for one and for all, forevermore. Amen.